Hello, and welcome back for another adventure in the cookie jar. Today, we're doing the 15th recipe from Carrot Cake Murder called the chocolate peanut butter cake with a Neverfail Fudge frosting. These two pages, and lastly, this one. It seems like a quick throw together cake, which it wants to be baked in a 9x13, and I'm going to use a disposable one because it's not going to be something that's going to get eaten in my house. There's one person that likes peanut butter, and that's it. So for this recipe, we are preheating the oven to 350. Warning, there are peanuts in this recipe. Make sure you ask if anyone is allergic to peanuts before you bake and serve this cake. So, Hannah's first note. Lisa says she got the idea for this cake by watching Marge make her cocoa fudge cake. Since Herb is crazy about Reese's peanut butter cups, Lisa's cakes combine peanut butter and chocolate. You're going to butter and flour a 9-inch by 13-inch sheet cake pan. You can also spray it with Pam or another nonstick cooking spray and then slightly dust it with flour. You can also do what Lisa did and spray it with a product that mixes nonstick cooking spray with flour, which is what I have called Baker's Joy. You are going to need 2 cups of white sugar, 2 cups of flour. This is don't sift, just level it off with a knife. 1 cup butter, 2 sticks. 1 cup peanut butter. Lisa used Skippy creamy peanut butter. 1 cup water. You're going to want half a cup of cream or evaporated milk if you're all out of cream. 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon baking soda, and 2 eggs beaten. Just whip them up in a glass with a fork. Hannah's third note. Lisa used the mixer down at the cookie jar to make this cake. She says you can also do it by hand if you don't have an electric mixer. The Neverfail Fudge frosting, you're going to want half a cup, 1 stick of salted butter, 1 cup white sugar, 1/3 of a cup of cream, half a cup of chocolate chips, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, and half a cup of chopped salted peanuts, optional. So for the cake, it seems you're going to mix the flour and the sugar together in your electric mixer. And then in a pot on the stove, you're going to melt the butter, the peanut butter, and the water together until it's just barely bubbling. And then you're going to mix that in with the sugar and the flour. And then in a small bowl, you're going to whisk the cream, the vanilla extract, baking soda, and the eggs. And you're going to mix those together and slowly stream it in while the mixer is going to kind of mix it without cooking the eggs. It does say you have to go slowly with this step because you have the hot peanut butter mixture in your bowl and you're adding an egg mixture. This cake wouldn't be wonderful if you ended up with a peanut butter flavored scrambled eggs. And that is my biggest fear when mixing hot things with eggs, because I've had it happen before. And then you're pretty much done with the batter. You're just going to scrape it into the 9x13. And it says it'll bake to 30 to 35 minutes. Now, with these recipes, especially with the 9x13s, it always takes longer than that. It feels like it always almost takes 40 to 50 minutes for these things to bake. But I will start it at the 30 timer just to I don't want to overbake it. We'll trust them. Okay, it says when the cake begins to shrink away from the sides of the pan and a long toothpick inserted in the center of the cake comes out clean, it's done. Hannah's fourth note. Lisa uses my Neverfail Fudge frosting on this cake. It's given as an alternative frosting at the end of Marge's cocoa fudge cake recipe, but I'll write it down again here. So for that, it sounds like as soon as the cake comes out of the oven, you put into the pan you used before the butter, sugar, and cream, and then you bring it to a boil, stirring constantly. Turn on the heat and cook it for 2 minutes. Add the half cup chocolate chips, stir them in until they're melted. Take it off the heat, add in the vanilla, and then you pour it onto the cake and spread it out. And then you grab the pan and tip it so the frosting covers the whole top. Sprinkle the chopped salted peanuts if you decided to use them over the top, and then cool it for about half an hour or so before cutting. And then it says Hannah's fifth note. Lisa says to tell you that this cake is absolutely yummy if you serve it slightly warm. It's also wonderful at room temperature. If you keep it in the refrigerator, take it out 45 minutes or so before you plan to serve it. You only have to stick it in the fridge if you want it to be cuttable faster. But everything is laid out. Let's get started. So this is everything that we are going to need today. Okay, so the first thing it says is to take the flour What have I done? That was weird. And the sugar. And blend those together. Once you have these together, you're going to move on to the next step, which would be, so in the pot on the stove, there's the butter, the peanut butter, and the water, and we're going to heat that on a medium heat. It doesn't say anything about mixing it the whole time now. It says to bring it almost to a boil. This almost seems more like a whisk would be better to blend it. That might just be because everything's still so solid. It just seems like a lot of liquid. The peanut butter has melted. It's thickened the water slightly. I'm still waiting on the chunks of butter to melt in. Oh, we have bubbles. I just saw a bubble. Okay, moving on. This is gross. It's gross looking. It really is. All right, it says to pour this over the sugar and flour and then mix it. So I am going to go very slowly with this because I don't want it to splash all over the place because it is hot. All right, while that blends, I'm going to take the cream, vanilla extract, the baking soda, and the eggs. And I'm just going to give them a whisk together with those blended up. Now, we're just going to slowly add them together. So because I am using a disposable tray, I am going to put it on a baking tray for stability. All right, give this one final spin. Mix it up a little bit. And pour it in. All right. Shimmy, shimmy. Pop the air bubbles. Is that like that? Okay. So into the oven it goes for about 30 to 35 minutes, it says. We have the cake out of the oven. Next step is to make the frosting. And for that, we're going to take the butter, the sugar, and the cream. And we're going to heat that until it's boiling. Okay, we are boiling, so now I'm going to turn down the heat to medium and give it 2 minutes. And I think you're still wanting to stir, but I'm not sure. But I'm going to go on the safe side and say you're still supposed to stir it for those 2 minutes. When the 2 minutes is up, we're going to pour in our chocolate chips and stir that until it's melted. I believe that's all melted. Now we are going to stir in the vanilla. Once that's mixed in, we're just going to pour it on top and spread it quickly. And it says to do this on a warm cake. The last thing we're going to do before we let this sit and harden is to sprinkle it with the crushed peanuts. Here is an up-close view of what we have. This is what we have. It's just going to sit until it's hardened. Probably toss it in the fridge for 30 minutes like it recommends. So we are done with the chocolate peanut butter cake. It looks really good. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of peanut butter, but it looks really good. It looks nice. If you like peanut butter, I'm sure this is the cake for you. But let's get a bite, see what we think. It's not bad. The texture is a little odd. The flavor is very much a peanut butter cookie. But I don't get Reese's Cup from this. I just don't think the icing is a dark enough chocolate, maybe. I think I used a milk chocolate chip. Maybe I should have used a semi-sweet. But overall, if you like peanut butter, I think you're going to love this cake. It is a really good crumb. It's a really good texture. It's not dry. You just have to really like peanut butter to eat a lot of it. Next week, we are moving on to a Scandinavian almond cake, which sounds awesome. I did have to buy a special pan, so if you're interested in seeing it, join us next week. I hope you all have a good one. Bye.